Hello and welcome to episode 587 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I am Carlos, and in this week's show, we welcome the military news. We hear about some historic Nimrod and the race to find a replacement for the venerable Hawk trainer. We have news about the Dreamliner defects. Wizz Air are eyeing up the USA. UPS are phasing out the MD-11s, and Heathrow have some fancy new scanners. I'm happy to report this week sees the return of our captain of the airwaves over in the P2K Master Suite studios. Is, of course, Matt Smith.
Oh, hello. Where did that intro come from?
Oh, Nick writes the intro.
Oh, I see. Right, okay. I was going to say, it was unusually complimentary. That's why I was surprised.
I know, we're not finished yet either.
Oh, aren't we? Okay, brace yourselves, everyone. Could be a rough session.
That's what she said. Anyway, welcome, Matt. It's good to see you back in the seat again this week.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I'm sort of starting to get the hang of, like, loading things in. But the thing that I struggle with is when you're trying to do a story and put the graphics up at the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean.
No,
sorry.
Matt's gone.
Yeah, no, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah,
We've still got music playing in the background.
Yeah, we always have music playing in the background.
It sounds really loud. It must just be me. I don't know. Hypersensitive ears, I suppose.
Anyway.
But yeah, I don't know how you do it, Matt. How you can read a story and change the graphics at the same time.
Well, no, I don't.
Well, you normally do when you're reading
No, I don't.
a story.
If you notice, whenever I'm reading a story, I don't change the pictures. I can't. I'm not that good.
Oh, I thought you had that.
No,
in the past, but no.
No, occasionally I have done if I've had it set up. But back in the days when we had producer John sat there, I would.
I remember those days.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, that's a technical step too far even for me while I'm reading a story.
Yeah, and across the Vale of Aylesbury, our chieftain of cable management is, of course, Neville Bounds.
Oh, I've seen some shocking cable management this week. I forget where I was actually, and it was just absolutely diabolical. I just stopped myself from going up to the person involved and explaining that they hadn't done it properly. But that would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? But no, all good. Thank you very much. Here, had a nice weekend with the grandkids over at Wendover Woods, and Nick will know where that is. Just overlooking RAF Halton. Huge airbase there, which one of these days is going to be decommissioned, but they haven't got round to it yet, so that's going to happen at some point soon, I think. But no, all good. Thank you very much. Weather has been quite diabolical here, although not as bad as it's been down in the southwest for Nick. But it's winter. That's what happens, isn't it? So, but no, all good here. Thank you very much.
Talking of weather, Nev, do you know what? I washed a car last weekend, Nev, and what I should have done last Saturday was just get some mud and tip it over the car itself. Would have saved a lot of hassle.
Yeah, it's a thankless task at the moment, isn't it? Never ending.
Yeah, it definitely is. With the floods around here, it definitely is. And joining us from home, or possibly Gatwick, it is our Airbus aficionado. It's, of course, Captain Andy.
Definitely from home this week, back in the pub where I belong.
I
think that this is the first podcast in the pub this year.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is, yes. So enjoying a nice pint of Guinness for the podcast as well. Lovely to be back. And it's nice to be home.
I bet.
I bet all the beer you had in over Christmas is all but gone.
Oh, no. I've still got lots left.
Oh!
There's still plenty of liquid refreshments available.
There we go.
Excellent.
Love that. And finally, in the P2K Southwest studio, our editor-at-large, and that's not just his shirt size, it's, of course, Nick Codling.
Evening, Carlos. And yes, I know Wendover Woods very well, and RAF Halton, because that was, in fact, where I was born. So, yeah, I do know it well. And I went to Air Cadets there when I was a teenager.
There you go.
There you are. And if you're listening to us as an audio podcast, don't forget you can join us every week on YouTube, and you can join in with the show and be part of the chat room. And talking of the chat room, let's see who we've got joining us this week in there. Kicking off the top of the list, it is Mazouz. Hello to you, Mazouz. Good to see you in there. Richard Adams is in there saying, good afternoon, Mazouz, he says. We have got, let me scroll down, Dirk S is saying good evening, folks. Hello to you, Dirk. Tanya's there in New York. Hello, Tanya. Lovely to see you in the chat room, as always. Masha says good evening, everyone, with a chilly little emoji at the end there. I'm guessing it's chilly where you are, Masha. Jason Trussell is in there as well. Good evening, Jason. Good to see you. We've got Jenny in Rome. Lovely to see you in there, Jenny, this week, as always. And we've got Bill, the lovely Bill. He's joining us. Good to see you, Bill. Hope you're well. And we have got, let me scroll down, John Main 1652. There we go. I'll put the numbers at the end, being as YouTube puts numbers at the end. Hello to you, John Main. Good to see you in there. And Pilot_Evan says, good day, team. Hello, Pilot_Evan. Good to see you in the chat room this week.
Is that maybe
As
Mr.
always.
Shoe, perhaps?
It possibly could be, yes. Hello, Mr. Evan. And our main man, Micah, says, hello, boys and girls. Mike has joined us this week as well in the chat room. He's in there. Good to see you, Micah. Hope you're well. And don't forget as well to subscribe to us if you're looking at us on YouTube, and make sure you click the bell icon to be notified when we're live and broadcasting as we are right now. We've got loads to get through on the show this week, including a not so retro airline ad of the week. This is a different one this week, totally different. So yeah, look forward to that. So if all the team are ready, it's time to look at this week's exciting commercial news.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
And first up from simpleflying.com this week, passenger covered in sick.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. Airline offers insulting £50 compensation. A BA passenger has taken to social media to share their unpleasant experience on board the UK flag carrier and One World founding members' long-haul flight from Johannesburg to London. The guest in question alleges that members of the cabin crew on the flight served his seat neighbour too much alcohol in the early stages of the flight, resulting in the seatmate vomiting everywhere due to his overindulgence in the air. Obviously, hopefully, he wasn't in seat 1B. Given the unpleasant nature of the situation, the passenger submitted a complaint to British Airways, but has now been shared the matter publicly online due to being offered an inadequate compensation. BA has there we go, I've lost my bloody place now. The situation is indicative of a general rise in bad passenger behaviour since travellers began returning to the skies in mass after the coronavirus pandemic, which has prompted some to call for drink limits. As noted by publications such as View from the Wing yesterday, saw BA passenger take to social media to share his account of a subpar flight from South Africa to the UK. The guest alleges, apparently, the staff served the passenger next door 10 Bacardi mini bottles in the first few hours of the flight, resulting in him getting so intoxicated that he vomited on himself, the seats, the floor, and the passenger next to him and the other side of him. Given that the service of alcohol is at the discretion of staff who are within their rights to refuse drink to drunken guests, this is an alarming situation. Unfortunately, the guest was unable to move due to the flight being full, resulting in considerable discomfort. And upon submitting a formal complaint to BA on the matter, he was then shocked to only be offered 10,000 Avios points, never know about that, or 50 quid. Voucher by way of compensation. Simple Flying contacted BA for comment, but they did not receive a reply at the time of the publication. Given the highly unpleasant experience that resulted from the cabin crew at British Airways serving his seatmate too much alcohol, the passenger concluded the telling of the story by saying that he was openly disgusted by the response in the service. Needless to say, his view of the compensation offers was inadequate and was shared by many on social media. And it will be interesting to see if anything else comes of the situation. So the story does go on slightly, but Nev, I'm sure that this will upset you, and I, being someone who's been in close proximity to someone who's been sick on board an aircraft, the smell can sometimes be slightly off-putting.
Well, the flight from Johannesburg to London is 11 hours and a bit, probably. So, it's not a great experience. So a couple of things there. I would say the crew have made an error by allowing him to drink so much and not controlling it. Secondly, as much as I have sympathy with the victim here, taking to social media is not the way forward, in my opinion, even if it was as bad as they are saying it is and the compensation was so little. I think if they can't get any joy from BA directly, just go up the chain, go to the CEO and see what happens there. But going to social media, I think probably devalues your claim in this sort of situation. But I do concede that it wasn't, it's not a great look, is it? Let's be honest. But the crew should not be serving that amount of booze to somebody on the flight.
No, someone in the chat room, who's that, said, but how much? Yeah, Dirk Guest is saying, how much is in one of these small bottles? I mean,
50 mil.
Is it 50 mil? Is it? And is that would be classed as a single shot?
Double.
Or is it a double?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey. Okay, so 10 of those bottles then is, that is quite a bit, isn't it?
20 singles or 10 doubles. Yeah, that's a lot. But sometimes it's just barf for the Corsair. I had to get a double put in there.
My goodness.
Apologies to everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I can't remember the last time I saw a sick bag in the front seat pocket of definitely not in Ryanair. But yeah, I take it they still do them there. They still put sick bags in the.
Yeah, but I think the amount of output that went on here would have exceeded the capacity of the sick bag. But no, I'm sticking with my original thoughts on this. As I say, I think that the victim, firstly, the person that caused this is ultimately responsible. Secondly, the cabin crew should not be allowing that amount of booze to be consumed. And then thirdly, the person who was the victim, unfortunately, should be taking it up with the airline and not hitting the socials with it, I think.
Yeah, can I just say that Bacardi wouldn't be my first choice, I'm afraid.
What would your first choice be?
Rum? Oh, Morgan Spiced, definitely. Yeah, bit of a lover of rum, to be fair. Anyway, yes, that's not a nice situation to be in. But as Nev said, that it shouldn't have been let to go quite that far with the amount given to him. Nev, we are going to give you this next story, which is all about Lot. They're spent a few quid.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Sorry, I was just trying to sort out a graphic problem that we've got as you were talking there. But yeah, it's on the Aviation 24.be. It says that Lot Polish Airlines has taken delivery of 3 new Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, which arrived at Warsaw Chopin Airport on January the 22nd and 23rd, following a high-profile ferry flight from Seattle. The jets registered Sierra Papa Lima Yankee Bravo, Lima Yankee Delta, and Lima Yankee Echo departed Boeing Field on the 21st of January, making a technical stop in Keflavik for fuel, I would imagine, and completed the final leg to Poland later that same day. For part of the transatlantic journey, the aircraft were flown in close formation, an unusual delivery method that attracted significant attention and was deliberately highlighted by the airline and Warsaw Airport. With these arrivals, LOT now operates 23 of these aircraft, further strengthening the backbone of its short and medium-haul European network from its Warsaw hub. The newly delivered aircraft are equipped with LOT's recently unveiled cabin interior, inspired by Polish landscapes, including references to the Tatra Mountains, and featuring a colour palette of deep blues and warm amber tones. The design and concept aligns with the carrier's broader brand identity across cabins and lounges. The new interior was developed by UK-based design agency Tangerine, with seats manufactured in Poland by Recaro. The first aircraft featured the updated cabin, entered service in early January of this year, shortly before the delivery of the 3 latest jets. LOT is still awaiting the delivery of a further 7 737-8 aircraft as part of its ongoing fleet modernisation programme. So they're going hell for leather, aren't they? They've already got 23 of them on the line. So yeah.
It's pretty rare to deliver 3 aircraft at once, though. That's pretty cool that they could fly them all in formation.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, if you didn't do that, frankly, it'd be a missed opportunity, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
PR as well. Makes it very good. Yeah, good photos.
Whenever we get a new aircraft, it's only ever one that comes out at a time, unfortunately. But yeah, it's really cool.
Do you still, when you're getting these new aircraft delivered, Andy, one at a time, do you still have a kind of ceremony when that new aircraft joins the fleet, or is it kind of just because it happens so often you don't really bother do anything, or?
No, there's no ceremony when we've got that many aeroplanes. It's just another one in, because normally one's gone out as well, one of the older ones. But when you go to pick them up from Airbus, it's quite nice. They give you a nice bit of food and that. And you've normally got to wait as well, because there is a whole legal process where somebody's got to come along and actually sign for it and hand the aircraft over formally and make sure all the insurances are in place and stuff before we take it off and fly it back. I've had some good freebies out of them as well in the past, so,
Yeah. Oh, interesting that is. No, it's good to see this has been a good one for Boeing, the MAX 8, after all the issues they had. But I didn't see on the news this week, guys. I don't know if you saw it. There's been a couple of quite big airlines this week that have cancelled their Boeing orders and switched to Airbus. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. There was a couple of big ones. Andy's excited about that. Yeah, there was a short haul, a narrow body one, and a wide body change this week. But yeah, perhaps we'll cover that next week. Matt, you have got the next story and good news for anyone flying possibly from Heathrow soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's they sort of. I seem to recall they sort of did this and then they had to revert back, if my memory serves correctly. But essentially, it's Heathrow scrapping the 100ml liquid container limit. So passengers at Britain's biggest airport, Heathrow, can leave liquids in containers up to 2 litres in their bags while going through security after it finally completed the rollout of the new high-tech CT scanners. Electronics such as laptops can also be left in the luggage, while clear plastic bags for liquids no longer have to be used. Heathrow now says that it's the biggest airport in the world to have the new equipment fully rolled out across all of its terminals. But while it has become the largest airport to roll out the new high-tech scanners, it is far from the UK's first, with Gatwick, Edinburgh and Birmingham airports having upgraded them to them in recent years and increased to a 2-litre limit. At most UK airports, passengers can keep liquid containers up to 100 millilitres in their luggage without having to remove them and use clear plastic bags. However, other airports that have the new scanners installed are waiting for the green light from the Department for Transport to raise the limits from 100 millilitres. Heathrow said that the scanners external, which provide better images of cabin bags, could service thousands of passengers an hour with significantly greater efficiency while maintaining high safety and security standards. The rule change only applies to flights leaving Heathrow, and passengers must check restrictions on luggage at the airports they are returning from before boarding flights to the UK. Of the world's busiest 10 airports, Heathrow is the only one to have scrapped the 100 millilitre rule for liquid containers on international flights.
This is pretty good, Nev. I think for those travellers who do tend to want to take, larger bottles of shampoos and all that kind of stuff, and not have to revert to using little tiny 100 ml containers to carry things.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing, isn't it? This business about liquids and electronics and what have you. I think that it's the way forward, but of course the problem with all these things is that people that are intent on doing harm are already 1 or 2 steps ahead of the security stuff. That's been the problem, and obviously the 100 ml limit was brought in response to problems that they had found people making up cocktails of things on the aircraft. So but I mean, I'm glad that common sense has prevailed, and that we've got higher technology solutions that means that people hopefully will be not as delayed going through security now.
I mean, it'll be August this year that it's 20 years since it was introduced.
Good Lord.
The limit, because it was August 2006 when the plot was uncovered. So technology has changed a lot in that time as well. I think it's great. It's a bit hit and miss at the moment, though, because some airports. I know Newcastle, you don't have to take anything out of your bag, but then you fly through other airports and it's no, you need to take everything out. Until we're all unified, it's still going to be a bit of a pain. But at least we're getting there.
And presumably some of the airports, like, so if, so say you've gone from Heathrow to, let's say Dubai, for example, if Dubai doesn't have the system for coming back, I don't know if they do, to be honest. Do they have the scanners in Dubai? I'm not sure. But coming back, presumably, again, those same limits, if you like, because the airport that you're flying out of is going to be the trigger as to whether you can take that volume of liquid with you, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So you might be able to take whatever you want out.
2 litres out, but still 100 litres coming back.
Yeah. Well, it's 100 ml bottles up to an amount of 1 litre, because that's how much you can fit inside one of the bags.
Okay.
Yeah, something that a lot of airports is different until they get everything the same. I mean, I've flown through Stansted, had been told to take my tablet out of the, carry-on suitcase. Yet coming back from Dublin back to Stansted, was told to leave my tablet in the carry-on suitcase and go through the scanner. So it's the rules are different depending on where you fly. So, Andy, next one for you.
Yes,
and I'm guessing you'd love to have a little go in this.
Possibly, yes. This is from interestingengineering.com, and the world's fastest civilian aircraft with Mach 0.95 Mach speed gets certification from EU regulators. The world's fastest civilian aircraft has received EASA certification. Developed by Bombardier, the Global 8000 business jet is the fastest civilian aircraft since the Concorde, with an industry-leading top speed of Mach 0.95. The aircraft offers a class-leading range of 8,000 nautical miles and enables passengers to fly faster and farther than ever before. Attaining EASA certification illustrates the hard work and dedication of Bombardier's highly skilled employees and suppliers in collaboration with Transport Canada and EASA teams, said Stephen McCulloch, Executive Vice President, Engineer, Product Development, and Bombardier Defence. Oh, he does a lot, doesn't he? The Global 8000 business jet also has the lowest cabin altitude in business aviation production at just 2,691 feet, while cruising at 41,000 feet. This reduced cabin altitude minimises the physiological stress associated with high altitude travel, helping passengers arrive at their destinations feeling refreshed and ready to perform, according to a press release. With a string of milestones in 2025, Bombardier's Global 8000 has redefined business aviation due to its unbeatable performance attributes and luxurious cabin. The Global 8000 is the only true four-zone business jet to offer a range of 8,000 nautical miles, enabling non-stop travel between more city pairs than ever before. In addition to its long-range capabilities, the aircraft remains remarkably agile, with takeoff and landing performance comparable to that of a light jet. Its advanced wing design, featuring unique leading-edge slats, enables customers to master up to 30% more airports than its closest rival. And also, the Global 8000 also received type certification in Canada and in the US in the late last year. And the aircraft entered into service in December 2025. That's phenomenal that it can fly that fast for that far and have a cabin altitude of less than 3,000 feet.
I was just about to say that. I mean, if you think about I know it's a bigger aircraft, but the A350 and 787s, they're probably down at about, 5,500 feet cabin altitude?
5, 6, yeah.
But this is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? That is just unbelievable.
Master
It is unbelievable.
Master in the chat room saying about what the price tag is on this. I've just had a little look on the Bombardier site. The base price of this jet is 78 million. But with the add-ons and customizations, the price can go up to around 85 to 95 million.
I mean, if you're buying one of these, money's probably no object anyway, is it, really?
How much is a 320, Andy? Roughly?
Probably a little bit less than 85 million, but around the same price as the base of this.
Blimey.
I mean,
But it can't go as far or as fast.
yeah, fair. I was going to say, surely you just go for one of those and, you have lots of space then if you do the same sort of cabin interior that they've done in this plane.
Yeah, but the operating cost will be a lot lower on this than a 320.
True.
That's true. Yeah. What we need to do is win the Euro Millions.
Actually,
nice,
several times over, I suspect.
I was going to say, that's all that'll help you buy the plane, but in terms of running it and hangar costs and all that kind of thing, I mean, we've got the Armando story all over again, essentially, haven't we?
Coincidentally, if anyone did win, I'll just looked, if anyone did win the Euro Millions draw yesterday, which is the 27th of January, the jackpot was 95 million.
I mean, you could live off the remaining 10 million. Well, that's quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to fly the damn
interest. I suppose with the interest you probably could, but it's going to cost, if you want to really use it, it's probably going to cost you close to £1 million a year in operating costs.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think Gemma would say yes. Just saying that.
Yeah, but you could have an awful lot of first class flights somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just do that. And it's somebody else's problem.
Yeah, when the plane goes tech, it's someone else's issue, not yours. Yeah.
And all you've got to do is drink champagne then and not worry about the cost.
Probably be cheaper for me to try and find a piece of one just to hang on the wall in here.
Well, not yet, because it's new and shiny. So going to be at least another 10 years before they're chopped up.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, well.
I do wonder, actually, on a technical side, how many cycles it can have on it with that sort of pressurization in the cabin. It must take quite
I was going to ask you a
pounding
question about that, Andy. Is that cabin altitude, is that down to simply how much you're pressurizing the cabin?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And is that just a function of the efficiency of the packs, or how does that work?
It's a function of what the airframe can take.
Yeah, because obviously on the like the A350 and the Dreamliner, they're a composite fuselage, so they're able to run at a much higher pressure compared to aluminium.
That's it. It all depends what this is manufactured out of, because say like the 320, that's at around 7 psi, and that's 8,000 feet cabin.
Right.
So it's going to be a high psi on the airframe to maintain less than 3,000 feet. So it must put a lot of stress on it.
I guess when you're
I'd be interested to dig out the sheet on it.
when you're exceptionally rich and you're presumably leasing your Gulfstream, that you don't really care how many cycles it's going to do, because you'll probably replace it in 3 years' time anyway.
Well, exactly, yeah.
True.
Yeah, Richard Adams says weekly trips to Malta. Yeah, that'd be nice. I bet I'll get there quicker than 3 hours than it currently takes on the 737-800. Nick, talking of 737s, you've got the next one.
Okay, this next story is from chaviation.com, and the headline is US's Southwest completes cabin reconfiguration of the Boeing 737-700s. Southwest Airlines have completed the cabin reconfiguration of its entire fleet of 737-700s, composed of 311 aircraft. The carrier's team removed a row of seats in order to create extra space for legroom, Tom Doxey, Chief Financial Officer, said in a statement on social media. Southwest is launching assigned and extra legroom seating on January the 27th. As part of the preparations, we needed to physically modify the seating configuration of our aircraft. For our 300 or so 737-700s, that meant removing a row of seats to create extra space for the extra legroom, he explained. The airline's technical operations team began the work after the holiday season and completed the cabin reconfiguration on all active aircraft a week ahead of schedule, Doxey added. The other aircraft on Southwest's fleet, 201 737-800s and 300 737-8s, which have larger cabins than the -700, do not require the removal of a row of seats to accommodate the extra legroom. Southwest 737-700s had a configuration for 143 passengers in a single class configuration. The reconfiguration is part of Southwest business restructuring, moving away from decades-old practices and introducing new features such as assigned seating, red-eye flights, and more. The changes were forced on the carrier by activist investor Elliott Management in 2024 and 2025. So yeah, no longer a low-cost carrier, I guess. And if there's a bit of extra money to be made by selling extra legroom seats, then I guess that's the way to go.
And like we were saying just before, Southwest have got a humongous fleet, absolutely huge fleet, the biggest operator of the -700, which is one of those aircraft, Nev. It's sort of it's a just a bit of a sort of funny fit, but it obviously works for Southwest.
Yeah, very few 700s in Europe, I think, actually. There's some around, but not that many at all. So, yeah.
I think Southwest used to have the 500s as well, didn't they?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Years ago. Yeah. Right. Next up is flightradar24.com. And most of you would have seen this on social media this week. Hopefully, Matt's got the video for this as well that shows what happened here. But this has been on most of the social media platforms. It's British Airways A350 loses wheel departing Las Vegas. So on the 26th of January, the right main landing gear wheel fell off a BA A350-1000 operating from Las Vegas to London as flight BA 274. The wheel fell off the aircraft as the landing gear was being retracted. The flight continued for a safe and uneventful landing in London, and no one was injured on the ground in Las Vegas. Video of the incident was captured on the automated live stream at Las Vegas Airport. BA's Flight 274 taxied from gate E1 to runway 26 right for a full-length departure at 5 minutes past 5 UTC or 21:05 local time. As the aircraft lifts off the runway at around 40 seconds after the beginning of the departure roll, sparks can be seen coming from the right main landing gear. As the aircraft climbs away from the airport and retracts the landing gear, the right rear wheel detaches from the aircraft and falls away. For those of you watching in the world of YouTube, if you closely look at that landing gear, you'll see the wheel come apart just after the little tree. It flies past the tree right there. No one was injured on the ground. The flight continued to London, as we said, at London Heathrow Airport, where it landed 9 hours and 17 minutes after being in the air. The A350-1000 main landing gear features a 6-wheel arrangement in 3 pairs. And the wheel lost by the Flight 274 in Las Vegas was the rearmost outside wheel on the right main landing gear. As I said, Matt's playing that video for you, so you're watching in the world of YouTube. You can see the wheel leaving the aircraft. It's safe to say, guys, that tyre or wheel no longer wish to be part of that aircraft anymore.
No, it fancied going out gambling.
Yeah. But it carried on, though, Andy. What indications, if any, would you on the flight deck get to tell you that there was this kind of incident happening, if any at all?
There will be no indication to say you have lost a wheel. What you'd probably get on the ECAM is brakes issues, temperature sensor issues. And to me, I'd look at it and just think, all right, something's gone wrong with the sensors over there, but I would never suspect that a wheel was missing.
Are there any tyre pressure sensors?
Yeah, it depends. That's an option. So it depends if that's fitted or not. Again, if you lost all the sensors on that wheel, you'd think, all right, something's gone wrong there. But again, I wouldn't think that I'd lost the wheel.
Yeah.
There is a plus side of it, of course, is that there would have been a lower fuel burn going to London, so they would have saved some juice, wouldn't they? With carrying less weight.
That's
They
got
are
to be
very heavy, the tyres.
Yeah.
That's got to be 50 kilos on its own, hasn't it? Maybe more. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but to be fair,
Probably.
Carlos's luggage is that much, so it's just like
I'd be at the end of the runway 26 right there at the Vegas airport there, thinking, right, where is it? It's mine.
Can I get it in the van?
Can I get it in the van?
I'd be in his swimming pool at his resort waiting for it to he'd be using it as a floaty.
I looked before we went live tonight. I looked because me and Nev were talking about this. I looked at the Google Earth map of the airport, and off the end of that runway is a golf course. So quite where this wheel ended up, I don't know. But there is a big golf course at the end of that runway.
I mean, I suppose at least it would have been dark, so it's unlikely that people would have been playing golf, I guess.
Yeah. But I'd have probably just carried on, because I wouldn't have thought there was anything wrong with the wheel.
So I'm going to ask you, Andy. I was quite intrigued about this. So, what's the this kind of the decision making process? Assuming that you're even aware that you have lost a wheel. My thoughts were that there wouldn't be much point sort of doing a return to do an overweight landing or burning off fuel. You may as well just crack on and just carry on with the journey.
Well, exactly. And with most things in life, there's not one right way to do things. There's not like a wrong answer. It's what's the safest option at this point. Is it going to, if the landing gears come up, doors have closed, awesome. The flight can continue as normal, because that's what you'd expect, isn't it? There's no drag penalties involved. There's no reason why it couldn't carry on. So they'd probably get on their way. Maybe somebody from ATC, it's come up through all the different levels and up to centre, and they've said, by the way, you've lost a wheel. Then that's the point we start going, okay, now we need to start discussing with maintenance, the company, what do you actually want us to do here? Aircraft's flying perfectly fine. We're expecting the flight to go as normal. What do you want us to do? Leave it down to them. And if they say, we want you to drop into here or wherever, or continue to home base back at Heathrow and we'll fix it there. Because ultimately, losing a single wheel off a 6-wheel bogie, you're not even going to notice it on touchdown. You can still distribute the weight among the rest of the wheels.
I saw somebody captured the landing and posted it on Instagram, and you could just about see that the wheel was missing there. But in that sort of situation, would that be considered to be an emergency landing? You know, would you have kind of fire crews standing by or anything like that?
I may. Again, it all depends on how you feel on the day. I'd probably tell the cabin crew about it and tell them to be ready for a precautionary landing just in case anything happened. But if I wasn't getting any indications that there was anything wrong with any of the other wheels, then I'd leave it at that. And I'd inform ATC, look, we've lost a wheel, but we don't expect any issues. Now they'll probably then go, okay, cool, call the fire brigade, have them at the runway ready just in case. But again, it's down to your individual judgment on the day.
And I suppose having maybe a long landing roll and kind of just letting it slow down a bit more naturally rather than sort of jumping on the brakes and just
let the auto brake do its thing.
Give it an easy
I might
time,
add to you. Yeah, and I might add to you, by the way, I'm talking about the A350 specifically here. If my aircraft lost a wheel, I would class that as an emergency because I've only got 2 on each bogie, not 6. So
a little more critical.
Yes, because you've lost 50% of the load bearing on that side of the wing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that makes a bit of a difference.
Yep.
Yeah, perhaps that'll be an optional extra, Andy, on the aircraft next day.
Well,
Lost
there is an
wheel
option.
sensor.
Well, and there is an option to have more wheels on the 320 if you want them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can have a double bogie main gear. It was originally designed for gravel runways, and only one airline ever took it up. I'll leave that open there, and if anybody in the who's watching on YouTube knows what it is, please do comment.
I
Well,
suppose the other reason for going all the way to London with that like that is that obviously having burnt off the fuel, the landing weight will be a bit more sensible by the time they get to London rather than trying to do an overweight landing and making a mess of it. And also from an engineering point of view as well, they've got perhaps better facilities at Heathrow than they might have in Las Vegas.
That's it. And you've got time to make the plan. You've got the entire flight to make.
There's no rush, is
decide
there?
what you want to do. Yeah.
I've got the answer, Andy. Should we let the chat room see if they can find it?
yeah.
Let the chat room see it. I'm sure they will find it.
We can come back to that.
And it looks weird when you see pictures of it.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Right. Talking about pieces of aircraft that I'd like to have adorn my wall. Matt, you've got the next story about a certain rather large aircraft.
Indeed. The Liverpool Echo, which is where we go for all of our aviation-based stories, of course, is reporting this one. It's the iconic Airbus Beluga Super Transporter to have final flight this week. Airbus is retiring one of its first-generation Beluga ST cargo aircraft. The European manufacturer is transitioning fully to the newer Beluga XL fleet. The Beluga ST, formerly known as the A300-600 ST Super Transporter, supported Airbus production for more than 2 decades after hauling oversized aircraft components between manufacturing sites across Europe. One of the Beluga Super Transporters, STs, will stage a flypast this week as North Wales is tipped to be its final resting place. Oh, is that our plane reclaimers friends over at North Wales, possibly? Oh, maybe not. Anyway, the STs have gradually been removed from service by Airbus to mark the occasion. The plane will stage a flypast in areas around Airbus Broughton on Thursday morning, January the 29th. So that's tomorrow. In fact, the plane will then land at the Harden Airport runway at around 11 a.m. Broughton is expected to become the aircraft's permanent home. More details on its final usage at the site are expected in the near future. A spokesperson for Airbus said that we plan to retire the Beluga ST aircraft in the Airbus home countries and respective options are currently being worked through. For the Beluga ST5, its final flight will take place on the 29th of January. Airbus also built a total of 5 Beluga ST aircraft, all of which spent their careers supporting the manufacture manufacturer's internal transport network. With the transition to the newer Beluga ST fleet now complete, most of the original Beluga STs have been withdrawn from service or placed in storage. Industry reports suggest that up to 4 of the 5 aircraft will ultimately require permanent retirement solutions, whether through museum display, educational use or long-term storage, underscoring the logistical challenge of preserving aircraft of this scale. Despite its retirement, the Beluga ST remains one of the most recognisable special mission aircraft ever built. Known for its distinctive features, it is instantly recognisable by its remarkable whale-like shape. The new Beluga XL incorporates a lowered cockpit, an enlarged cargo bay structure, modified rear and tail section and cargo loading systems to ensure efficient handling of payloads. It was launched back in 2014 to support Airbus's accelerating production ramp up. The 6 aircraft Beluga XL fleet is operated by Airbus Transport International, an Airbus subsidiary that has been the company's internal airline since 1996. In 2024, a Beluga XL plane took off from Liverpool's John Lennon Airport. The plane, which transports aircraft parts and outsize cargoes, was diverted to that airport as opposed to its usual destination at Harden due to strong winds. It refueled there and 90 minutes later departed for Toulouse Airport. An airport spokesperson commented, "This is such an amazing looking aircraft that I'm sure many in the region will have seen it in the skies overhead, operating to or from the airfield at the Airbus factory over in Broughton in North Wales. This is the chance to see this close up on the ground here at the airport when it lands at Liverpool, sometimes due to bad weather at Broughton, is always a great occasion for all those who work at the airport." And it is the oversized aircraft, and the ST and the XL, they're all very iconic aircraft, aren't they? I mean, I'd love to go and have a proper nose round one of them.
Ooh, I have.
Oh, you have? Nice.
Yes, at Harden as well. It was many years ago now, to 2017 November, when I used to do the old podcast with Matt. Me and Matt were invited up there, and we got on board one. We had a look around inside and went in the flight deck. And the flight deck door is like a submarine door, because that's the pressure bulkhead. The rest of the airplane isn't pressurized. It's about 4 inches thick, the flight deck door, and it's very, very cold inside. But it's a shame they're retiring these. Airbus originally planned to carry on operating these aircraft to fly outsized cargo for private operations, but it just doesn't look like there's any market there for them, and they're very costly to operate. But at least hopefully they're going to put them in places where people can go and see them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I really hope they do at least get us, well, 1 or 2 at least in museums, either in the UK or possibly in the US if they choose. But let's hope they don't just bin them all off. And as Matt was saying in the story there, they're going to, was it North Wales, you said, didn't you, Matt?
Yes, that's
North
right.
Wales, yeah. Which must be...
It's Harden. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Broughton Airfield.
Yeah, I just hope
where they make the wings.
Do you think you fit one of these at Duxford, Nev? There must be space at Duxford.
Well, it's all a bit chock-a-block over there at the moment, but it would be nice to, wouldn't it? The other thing I was going to say about Harden Airfield is the Chocks Away Diner. If a nice English breakfast is your thing, they do a fantastic breakfast there. And I've taken one of my customers there a couple of times over the years when I was working. And they also tell you what time the Beluga is taking off and landing as well. So you can actually plan your journey and your breakfast around the flight times of the aircraft. But it's phenomenal to see it. It really is nice. But so yeah, I think they have to keep at least one somewhere for perhaps an Airbnb or a hotel or something like that. Be nice, wouldn't it? But
that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Airbnb would be an awesome idea. How good would that be? We'll probably see this on one of those one of those grand design programs on TV next, where someone buys, because there's been people who brought aircraft fuselages before and turned them into B&Bs and places like that. But can you imagine having a garden big enough to have a Beluga ST as your shed? Or
perhaps I should say to
It
Mrs.
would be
Never,
pretty cool,
I'm
wouldn't it?
not buying the Focus ST again. I'm going to buy the Beluga ST.
yes.
Ah.
And
Something
you
different.
could repaint it banana orange as well.
I think there's a possibility there. Yep, definitely.
You'd be able to see it from space, but
Yes.
it would certainly stand out. I've sent you some photos there, Matt, as well. I don't know if you can get them on or not.
We might have to sort of come back to it because it's not a straightforward process to get it out of my phone. But
That's all right.
leave it with me. We'll come back to it in a few minutes' time, probably after this next story.
Yeah,
Cool.
Nev, you've got the next one, and honestly, the bad news just kind of never seems to tail off.
We've been here a few times now, haven't we, with this situation. This is on paddleyourown.canoe.com, and it says that safety group calls for Boeing 787 Dreamliner fleet grounding over dangerous design defect. Well, the largest passenger rights group in the US has called on the Trump administration to take urgent action to address what it describes as a dangerous design effect in many 787 aircraft, which could cause water to leak from the restrooms and damage flight critical equipment. Although Paul Hudson, president of Flyers' Rights, wrote to the Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy about his concerns in a letter that was co-signed by 7 aviation safety experts, the administration has yet to respond. Well, in 2023, the FAA set about creating a rulemaking that would require airlines to carry out frequent inspections of the lavatories on their 787 Dreamliner fleet after it was discovered that water could leak into the electronic equipment bays located underneath the restrooms. The issue came to light after an unidentified airline reported significant concerns to the FAA about multiple water leaks coming from sinks in their 787 aircraft. The airline first discovered a wet carpet close to the flight deck and carried out work to trace the source of the water. It turned out that a faulty O-ring in the faucet control module was the reason behind the leak. Whilst these water leaks were normally quite minor, there were cases where a significant amount of water could escape without anyone being aware of the issue. In its notice of proposed rulemaking, the FAA warned that if the issue wasn't addressed, the water could leak onto flight-critical electronic equipment, which could result in the loss of continued safe flight and landing. The FAA initially ordered airlines to carry out frequent inspections, but last year the agency created a new rule that requires airlines to replace the faucet control model on affected planes with a redesigned version that doesn't leak. In addition, airlines are also required to install moisture management devices underneath Dreamliner lavatories, just in case there is a leak that goes undetected. Well, Paul Hudson from Flyers' Rights, however, is concerned that the FAA has been far too generous in the amount of time it has given airlines to comply with the new airworthiness directive, as affected carriers have until 2030 to complete the modifications. He said this is a serious safety concern that requires immediate corrective action. We cannot wait 5 years merely hoping that there's not another electrical failure aboard a packed Boeing 787-9. His concerns have also been backed up by Ed Pearson, Executive Director for the Foundation of Aviation Safety, who said he was disgusted by the FAA's proposed compliance time. Pearson raised the possibility that the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner on the 12th of June 2025 might not have been caused by one of the pilots. Air India AI 171 crashed just moments after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport, claiming the lives of all but one of the 267 passengers and crew on board. So that's 261 passengers, I should say. The crash is still very much the subject of an active investigation, although preliminary reports revealed that the fuel cut-off switches were apparently turned off in quick succession just seconds after takeoff. The report includes a brief passage of conversation between the two pilots in which one asked why the engines had been shut off and the other responded that he had not touched them. One of the leading theories behind the cause of the crash is that one of the pilots deliberately cut the fuel to the engines, although Pearson says that all possible failure scenarios should be exhaustively investigated before blame is placed on the Air India pilots. Well, the FAA is proposing that the airlines replace faucet control modules in the 787 Dreamliner lavatory sinks with a new model that doesn't leak, and the rulemaking supersedes an order that airlines carry out regular inspections of FCMs to ensure that they are not leaking. As they've said before, if a leak were to go undetected, the FAA is concerned that the water could damage critical electrical equipment. Although flight regular inspections are still taking place, flyers' rights believe that immediate fixes are required. Now, these sorts of airworthiness directives have various things to them, don't they? Whether it's an immediate situation before the aircraft are safe to fly again or deemed safe to fly again, or whether they can be deferred defects. I must say, just looking at the story, and I don't know any of the background really behind it, 2030 for an airworthiness directive when we've just started 2026 for something like this does seem a very long time to me.
It's a very long time for an aircraft that is completely electrically powered.
Yes,
Every
right.
system.
Yeah.
It doesn't have traditional hydraulic systems, pneumatic systems. Everything is electrically powered. So it's phenomenal to me that, like I say, 4 years to do this, it could lead to an absolute disaster. I don't understand it.
And you'd have thought, I don't know, perhaps I'm overthinking this, but you'd have thought, given the current sort of spotlight, I suppose, on Boeing at the moment because of well-documented issues, you'd sort of think that actually this would all be happening a lot faster, frankly.
Well, let's look at the current issue the big issue they've got as well with the MD-11, where it turns out they've published something several years ago, said, "Oh, just inspect it, make sure it's all right." Who knows what's going on at Boeing? But once again, Boeing are back in the news, coming up with things that may not be the most sensible option in other people's eyes.
I watched a documentary series on YouTube where they done, what's the check, Andy, when they remove all the interior of the aircraft? Is that a C
check or a D check?
check.
Yeah, they're big heavy checks.
Yeah, the heavy check. There's a documentary series online we can watch. They done a 330 and on the Airbus that they have the flooring that goes underneath the lavatory area is like a special membrane, really heavy, sticky coat and flooring that goes over the the actual aircraft frame itself, where the toilet goes on, like a really specialized to stop any water, getting through to the aircraft fuselage itself. But
I'm sure Boeing probably have the same, but if the thing's leaking, it's going to find a way to get through everything.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well, and it might have been leaking for a long time and therefore impacted. That's what I say. I mean, it may have been leaking from the moment it was, sort of installed, if you see what I mean. And then it's, as you say, over time, that's where it's sort of worn down, the thing, and that's how it's been discovered, essentially.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, but water and electrics never mix.
Especially
Not a good move. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
There you go. Matt, have you got those pictures then of the Beluga so Carlos can decide how many bedrooms to put inside it?
Yeah, quite. Bear with me. Here we go. All right, so we'll start off with this one then, Andy. Talk us through.
It's a right treat for anyone watching in YouTube.
So this is the flight deck door that I was talking about before. It looks like you're on a submarine.
It does.
But because the pressure bulkhead is the rear of the flight deck, the rest of the aircraft is not pressurized, as it doesn't need to be. Also makes it several tons lighter as well doing that, because it doesn't have the pressurized air in it. This door needs to be very substantial. And on the other side, where that red light is, it was when this aircraft came in and I went on board, it was incredibly cold in there, because of course it's been cold soaked at minus 50 odd degrees for several hours. But it was really interesting to see. And if you move on to the next one, Matt, and that's the looking up at the open entrance to the the main cargo deck. I think I'm stood just above the flight deck here. You just see how beautifully it's designed from an engineering point of view. That is lovely to look at. But let's see. There we go. This is from the rear of the aircraft, so from the aft section looking forward. You can see how cavernous it actually is. So you can probably get a few floors in there.
Is below, isn't it, Andy? Am I right in thinking the flight deck is?
Yes. So where you stood here on the main floor, running straight ahead, the flight deck, the roof of the flight deck is the same height as where I'm standing here, just right at the front.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's loads of room. Get a few different floors in there. You could have a living room, a bar area, a couple of bathrooms, about 5 bedrooms. There you go. Painted bright orange. There's Nev's new home.
Or a
the garden.
very, very good bowling alley.
The very long one, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a challenge to get a return on your investment if you did it as a bowling alley. I think that would be a bit of a challenge.
Hey, I tell you what, turn that into an Airbnb and do it properly. I bet you'd get a good turnover of av geeks who would want to stay in there.
Yeah, but if it's going to be based in Wales, like, you know.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, Wales is beautiful, but it's very wet.
Richard Adams in the chat room is saying that that could be the venue for the 700th show.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
I like the sound of that.
And John Main is saying the PTUK's new studio.
Right, okay. I mean, all
I
lovely
love-
ideas.
I think the acoustics would drive Matt
Yeah.
and Ev round the twist.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you'd be amazed what you can do with a bit of gating these days.
How many egg boxes would we need to put around all of the inside of
yeah,
the
it'd
to
It'd
try
be,
and
it'd be
dampen
a
the
highly
sound?
reverberant space, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, indeed. Absolutely, yes. As I was saying, there's only so much you can do with a bit of gating. But
Now, Nev, or actually, no, Andy, you've got
Yes.
you've got the next one, and good news if you want to go to the US in a 321.
This is from aviation-a2z.com, and Wizz Air UK eyes new A321 XLR flights to world's largest economy. Wizz Air UK has formally applied for authorization to operate flights between the United Kingdom and the United States, marking a notable shift in its public stance on transatlantic flying. The application was submitted to the US Department of Transportation in January 2026. The airline's plan is to use the Airbus A321 XLR to support these operations, initially through passenger charter services. Potential routes could link Gatwick Airport with major US gateways such as JFK Airport. Wizz Air UK has requested both an exemption and a foreign air carrier permit from the US Department of Transportation. Approval would allow the airline to operate scheduled and charter air transport services for passengers, cargo, and mail between the UK and the US. The filing relies on the 2020 UK-US Open Skies Agreement, which allows airlines from both countries to operate without restrictions on capacity, frequency, or pricing. This framework enables Wizz Air UK to seek market access without bilateral limitations. The airline's strategy prioritises passenger charter flights. Importantly, the application explicitly asks for the flexibility to introduce scheduled services later without requiring additional DOT approvals. This structure allows Wizz Air UK to test demand and operational performance before committing to a full scheduled network. The A321 XLR sits at the core of Wizz Air UK's long-haul plans. With a maximum range of around 4,700 nautical miles, the aircraft can operate non-stop routes across the Atlantic that were previously limited to wide-body fleets. Wizz Air UK currently has 3 A321 XLRs registered, with 2 in active service. The third remains under repair following a tail strike incident in Prague in September 2025, which we actually talked about at the time. Across the wider group, Wizz Air Malta operates 2 A321 XLRs. Both are grounded and currently used as engine donors to support fleet availability elsewhere. In November 2025, Wizz Air revised its agreement with Airbus, reducing its A321 XLR order from 47 aircraft to just 11, including those already delivered. The remaining delivery slots were converted to the A321neo. This change reflects a narrower, more selective use of the XLR rather than the broad long-haul expansion. From the UK, the aircraft allows non-stop access to much of the eastern and central United States, aligning with point-to-point markets where lower density demand can support narrow-body economics. The application represents a potential recalibration of Wizz Air's long-term strategy. The airline has consistently avoided transatlantic passenger service, with leadership previously stating that long-haul economics conflicted with its ultra-low-cost model. Recent developments suggest a more cautious reassessment rather than a full reversal. In late 2023, a Wizz Air UK A321XLR was used to operate a diplomatic flight to Washington, drawing attention to the aircraft's long-range capability and operational readiness. If Wizz Air UK proceeds, it will enter a market where low-cost transatlantic operators have struggled. Norwegian, Primera and Play Airlines all failed to sustain long-haul budget models, reinforcing industry skepticism around profitability in this segment. Now, it does raise the question, why are Wizz Air doing this?
Oh, I thought you were going to give us the answer then.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question.
Yes, it's a very good question. I don't know why they're doing it because, as the article says, there is a history of failures of low-cost operation across the North Atlantic. And let's be honest, there is no shortage of North Atlantic traffic from the eastern seaboard to major UK airports. So what can they do to be a differentiator? And it can only be price. That's the only advantage that they could have, is have some extremely competitive fares. But honestly, I don't think that's why they brought the A321XLR into service. It was really to serve going in the other direction to places like Jeddah and some of the other places that would be difficult to reach without a stop on a A321neo. So I don't know why they're doing this, I must say.
It's interesting that the likes of JetBlue are managing to make this work the other way across the Atlantic. But the fact that they're not running a scheduled service and it's a charter operation, you need to build a market for yourself to sustain it. And if you're just offering ad hoc flights that aren't scheduled, you're not going to build yourself that market. I don't see how it's going to work. It screams to me of a subsidiary, because this is just the UK subsidiary, that doesn't know what its direction is. If it can't make something work, it's trying something else. Let's have a go at the US market. That's just not sustainable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to ask myself about JetBlue because they're operating out of Gatwick, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
But we also have, I think I'm right in saying, Air Canada operating 321s. I think they might be flying in and out of Scotland, possibly. So there is form for other airlines doing it. So it seems like the numbers can work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it depends, because Air Canada's an established carrier, a big legacy carrier.
Yeah.
JetBlue is a very big established carrier in the US. Wizz Air is a big established carrier in Eastern Europe, but not particularly massively known within the UK. I think it's a very interesting.
There's always going to be an appetite, isn't there, for low cost fares, and I think there will always be the class of passenger that's willing to put up with a certain level of discomfort or basic level of service if it means that they can get to their destination for a few £100 cheaper or whatever. So
absolutely, but then you still have some low cost wide body carriers. Norse, they are still limping along out of Gatwick. They're still operating across the channel somehow.
Yep.
I just think it's a very interesting direction that they're going in, and let's see how it pans out for them.
So, Nick, you have got an update on the dreadful crash of the MD-11 over in Louisville.
Yes, I have. So this one is from aerotime.aero, and unsurprisingly, UPS retires MD-11 freighter fleet in aftermath of Louisville crash. UPS has fully retired its fleet of McDonnell Douglas MD-11F freighters, bringing an abrupt end to decades of tri-jet cargo operations following a deadly crash in 2025 that claimed the lives of 3 crew members and 12 people on the ground. In its fourth quarter 2025 earnings report, UPS confirmed that it had completed the retirement of all 26 MD-11Fs it still owned, accelerating a long-standing fleet modernization plan in the wake of the fatal crash of UPS Airlines Flight 2976 in November. The decision marks a major shift for the logistics giant, which once relied on the MD-11 as a workhorse on the long-haul international routes. The aircraft, an evolution of the McDonnell Douglas design, later produced under Boeing after its 1997 merger, had been in service with UPS since the early 2000s. Flight 2976, operating as a cargo service from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu, lost its left-hand engine during takeoff on November the 4th and crashed into an industrial area beyond the runway. The crash became one of the deadliest in UPS's aviation history. In the immediate aftermath, UPS grounded the entire fleet out of an abundance of caution, following recommendations from Boeing and directives from the FAA. FedEx and other operators followed suit, temporarily grounding their own MD-11s as inspections and reviews began. Prior to the crash, UPS had already been phasing out the MD-11s in favour of more fuel-efficient twin-engine freighters such as the 767 and 777, and the MD-11's retirement was part of that broader strategy, but the Louisville accident accelerated the timeline and effectively ended the type's operational future with the carrier. In financial filings, UPS recorded a $137 million non-cash after-tax charge associated with writing off the retired fleet. Company leadership said the transition was managed in a way that preserved network reliability, even as the last trijets were withdrawn from service. Over the next 15 months, UPS plans to take delivery of 18 new Boeing 767s, 15 of which are scheduled to arrive in 2026, and will reduce reliance on leased aircraft as those new jets enter service. The MD-11's departure from UPS leaves it with a fleet centred on modern twins and mixed wide-bodies, including 747-8s, 757, 767s and Airbus A300-600s. With UPS's exit, only a handful of MD-11Fs remain, most notably with FedEx and Western Global Airlines, both of which have grounded their MD-11 fleets while regulators complete the inspections. So yeah, not really a surprise to everybody. I think given the level of complexity that would have been involved in redesigning and then having to recertify the engine mounting, it would have been a tremendous amount of work for what is quite a small fleet of aircraft still in active service.
Shame, though.
Yeah, only 200 of these were built.
Wow.
Of these aircraft, exactly 200 of these are built. Obviously based on the DC-10.
Yeah, it came at the wrong time. The market was shifting towards twin engine again. The 777 was around. The 777 won the passenger market that the MD-11 would have had. Much like the A380 came at the wrong time and didn't get the market again because the 777 had been developed even further at that point. But yeah, it's sad. Hopefully these guys who are flying these airframes can be given a new type rating on other fleets. It's Western Global that really gets me at the moment because their entire fleet is MD-11, so I really feel for the pilots there at the moment. We'll see what the outcome is. Yeah.
Didn't realise that. Blimey.
So what I hadn't realised from until I was putting this in the show notes was I rather naively didn't realise that Boeing are still building the 767.
Yes, they kept that production line open as part of trying to win the US Air Force's Pegasus contract to replace, funny enough, the KC-10, the old DC-10 tankers. So they kept the line alive. Originally, they were actually going to give that to the MRTT 330, but the US government stepped in and said, no, you got to buy American. So went to the 76, so that's why they kept that line open. But because they were going to be tankers, Boeing wisely said, well, we'll keep the 767 freighter version going. So it give UPS, FedEx, all them guys the chance to go, oh, well, we'll buy some brand new one of them.
Yeah.
The delivery customer of, just as a matter of interest, the first delivery was to Finnair back in December in 1990 of the MD-11.
Or the MD-11.
Yeah. Yeah, Finnair. There we go. Right, Nev, we've got a bit of a story for anyone who may like Lego.
Yes, and lots of people do, except when you stand on a piece in the living room or the kitchen, of course. Thanks to our very loyal listener, Bill Aronek. Thanks very much indeed for sending this in, Bill. Bill says, my better half is a Lego fanatic. My job is to screen various YouTube videos on upcoming Lego so she can be shown just the stuff she wants to see. I am retired and she's not. I think we've got some video of this, Matt, as well. He says, today it was announced that there is going to be a Lego DC3 with 1,903 pieces for release on April the 1st. No actual pictures or livery available as of yet, but I do recall seeing a Buffalo Airlines model several years ago that was proposed. So fingers crossed. That might be it. And I managed to find a video of it online as well. So
I worry that it's the 1st of April. That's the only thing.
Exactly. But yes, the DC3. What a classic that is. Another fine McDonnell Douglas product from back in the day. And yeah. So thanks, Bill, for sending that in. Really appreciate that.
I've still got my Lego.
Yeah.
Box of Lego in the garage. Oh yeah, definitely. I always find that when you're buying gifts for the younger people in the family, I always tend to buy them Lego, because then at least when we go around and see the kids, that I have something to do.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, dear.
Although I did have Meccano as well when I was younger.
That I like Meccano. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. No, nice little story that. Thanks, Bill, for sending that in. Awesome little story. Right, it is that time of the show where we do a certain segment, but this week it's slightly different, Nev.
Yeah, it's the Retro Airline Ad of the week, of course. And this week we're not going back quite that far with this retro ad, but we believe we've reached a new frontier with this one. Plus, it's guaranteed to make you smile.
Grizz, you started.
I sing first?
Yes.
Now?
Go.
We've been together since way back when. Take it, Flip.
And we thought we'd never get to see you again.
Hey, so we want you to know.
After all these years, sing it, Rabbit.
Well, basically, you're still the one. I want whispering in my ear. You're still the one.
That makes us strong.
Still the one.
We wanna take along.
We're still having fun. And you're still the one. Big finish. We are still the one. That makes you smile. Still the one.
Going that extra mile.
We're still having fun. And you're still the one.
Oh, that's fat.
That was perfect.
Hey, we're pretty good.
Dig it, man.
We're taking this on the road.
Ooh, yeah.
I literally have no words. What on earth? Have you had a stroke, Carlos? Is that like what? Like
You
That
got
reminded me of going
it.
to see the Wurzels last summer.
yeah.
Oh, you have to admit
great.
that was good.
I mean,
Yeah, I think for those people that have downloaded it as an audio podcast, you have to look at the YouTube version of this to fully appreciate what we were giggling at. But it was very well done, I thought. Very good.
Rich Food comments in the chat room. Was
I
that
can't
real?
imagine. Yeah.
Was that real, or have I had too much wine?
Yeah.
Says Jason Trussell. Richard Adams says whoever signed off on that campaign must have been smoking something other.
Something very
Tobacco.
magical, certainly. Yeah, absolutely.
Bill says the airline that makes flying feel like a zoo. I mean, you got to admit that advert must have cost a couple of quid to do.
I'm going to say probably not that much, actually. I think that is something you could have probably done on your phone, to be fair. Because the rendering was not fantastic. It wasn't even beautifully rendered on the end of the tail fin if you watch it closely, especially the one with the blue.
Oh man, you have to be pig-up, don't you? Honestly.
Well, yeah, but it's just like, as I say,
You have to spoil it, don't
I'm
you?
sorry.
Have to spoil it. Anyway, moving swiftly on. It's been a busy week for us in regards to a certain show, hasn't it, Nev?
Yes, and lots happening actually with the 600th show, I'm pleased to say. Quick reminder, if you don't already know, it's on Friday, the 22nd of May this year at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford in the UK in the Airside Suite. There are still some spaces available if you would like to join us. There is an entry fee of £60, which is payable to us by the 1st of April this year, either to the PTUK, Patreon or PayPal account. And the details of those are on the Support Us tab, which is on the front part of the website on the right-hand side. So if you would like to join us, please drop us a note to podcast@planetalkinguk.com. and we can make the arrangements for you. A couple of interesting additions. I mentioned last week, actually, that we have one of our confirmed speakers is a well-known personality from the social media platforms. That's Scotty Bateman, MBE. As you might know, Scotty has written the fabulous book on the Hercules. And by the time that we have our 600th show, he will have published his book called Jumbo, which is rather inevitably all about the Boeing 747. That's actually released on the 19th of February. And you can pre-order that as well if you want to. Scotty was previously a C-130 captain, and having been a first officer on the Boeing 747. He is now a senior first officer on the A350-1000 for a large UK-based airline. And I'm sure you know which one that is. We've also had confirmation of our other guest presenter, and that is one of our loyal listeners, Alan White. Alan's going to be telling us about his flying career, as well as the varied work that he now does on the fixed-wing assets for the Irish Coast Guard. And that should make for a very interesting session, to say the least. And we'll be having question and answers going on there as well for both Scotty and for Alan. And I think it's going to be a really interesting couple of presentations. And Alan's work on the fixed wing aircraft is incredible. I mean, he's doing some pretty challenging flying. They're based down at Shannon in the southwest of Ireland. But I'm really looking forward to hearing what Alan's got to say about his story so far.
It's going to be an awesome show. Looking forward to it. It's gearing up to be a busy show as well, Nev. We've got quite a lot of guests, haven't we, joining us?
Yeah, and so people from the US, Norway, all sorts of parts of Europe are coming over to join us. Germany, Italy. So, yes, and we've got a meeting about it here on Sunday, and I've got an idea for a quiz that we could do as well. And, of course, with the quiz, there's always prizes too, so look out for that. But, yeah, it's not long to go now, but, yeah, we're...
Is it worth mentioning the accommodation and all that, Nev?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So don't forget, if you are planning on joining us, there is accommodation available at the local hotel, which is called the Duxford Hotel at Cambridge South. Just look that up on the internet, and you'll find the details for that. That's only a 3-minute drive away from the Imperial War Museum as well. Also, Whittlesford Station is right next to the hotel with easy access to London's Liverpool Street Station. In the evening, we're having dinner at the Red Lion pub, which is directly opposite this hotel. So that's very convenient in the same sort of courtyard area. They actually still have rooms available there as well. The dinner is a pay for yourself affair, and you'll have to pre-order your food. And for those that are coming, we will be sending out menus, and the restaurant will need this info by the 30th of April at the latest. But we'll give all those details to you in plenty of time. So if you have not booked and you would still like to come, please send a request to podcast@planetalkinguk.com.
Yeah, we did have a few people this week that we know of who did email us and just said, is there any spaces left? Are any available? And we do still have spaces left on the day. So, yeah, please do get in touch with us if you want to come and join us for the day. It's going to be a great day. And don't forget as well, Duxford is an incredible museum if you've not been there as well to look round. It has some great things on offer to look round, including Concorde, Nev.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the pre-production ones there. So, yeah, that'll be really good.
Yeah. Right, time for Nev's special part of the show, isn't it, Nev?
It is, yes.
What's up, bogeys 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. Undersea boogie.
And the first one comes from bbc.co.uk. And we were talking earlier, weren't we, guys, about the Beluga, and obviously with the STs being retired and hoping that they go somewhere. Well, this aircraft, again, I hope finds a new home. And the headline, Nimrod Group hopes plane can fly as airport shuts. Volunteers behind the preservation of a historic Nimrod aircraft hope it can be flown out of Coventry Airport when it leaves the West Midlands after 15 years. Nimrod Preservation Group, XV232, is setting up the operation because the airport will close in June and the aircraft will need to reach its new base in Kent. This weekend, the aircraft will be towed from its position on grass to a hangar or hard standing in the first stage of its removal using specialist equipment from Birmingham Airport. Graham Morgan, chair of the Preservation Group, said one of the three options they are looking at was a one-off ferry flight from to Manston Airport. He said, we're currently reviewing three possible options for the future of our historic aircraft, he said. The other two options are road transport to RAF Manston History Museum or scrapping, if no other option proves viable, he explained. The need to move the aircraft was confirmed back in December when the closure of Coventry Airport was announced. Owners, the Rigby Group, said the ceasing of runway operations at the Bagnton site would enable the next phase of building work to begin on the Green Power Park, the location of the proposed battery gigafactory. Mr. Morgan explained the cost of moving the Nimrod with or by air or land won't be cheap. Dismantling and the road move could cost up to £250,000. With the insurance and the work that's required on the plane, you're looking at around £100,000, he said. But time is running out to get the aircraft back in the air, as the insurance at Coventry Airport will expire in June. After the work has been towed, or after the aircraft has been towed off the grass the weekend, volunteers will then assess what work needs to be done on it to decide on its future. Now, I have to say, if they can pull off getting this, ready for a one-off ferry flight, I would be incredibly surprised.
Do you remember when I said I would eat my hat if Global get their own AOC?
Yes.
I will eat my hat again if this happens. There is no way in 4 months you can get an aircraft that doesn't have a type certificate, a special permit to fly, find all the parts to make it fly. This thing is leaving Coventry on a wagon, unfortunately. It's never going to fly again.
No.
I'm just trying to think, when was the last time a Nimrod was actually active in the air?
Oh,
God, well over 10 years ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the thought of trying to make something, even if you were to be able to make it airworthy, it seems like a completely insurmountable task, doesn't it?
Think how long it took them to get the Vulcan flying again.
Yeah, and how much money.
The Hawker Siddeley Nimrod made its final official flight for the Royal Air Force on June the 28th, 2011.
Yeah, so coming up 15 years ago. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And also, I think with the general move towards very cautious behaviour of our civil aviation, our CAA, there'll be no appetite for it, let alone the operational practicalities of doing this, I would say.
You've got nobody type rated to fly it as
No.
well.
Certainly.
Just even getting that authorization again, like you said, the CAA, especially after things like Shoreham, have got no appetite for rushing these things. It needs the time, and unfortunately, the time doesn't exist. But
Actually,
they can dream, eh?
I was going to say, Andy, actually, this particular aircraft, XV232, apparently made her final flight into Coventry on the 11th of May 2010.
Well, even longer. Okay.
Yeah. So 16 years. And yeah, there's so many things to take into, corrosion, all the rest of it, Andy. And like you said, there's a whole list of things that will stop this aircraft flying again, unfortunately. But let's hope they do preserve it. Let's hope they do get it to a museum and, preserve it for future generations to see. And coincidentally, if you do want to go and see a Nimrod and go on board a Nimrod and have a look round, there is one at the Norwich Aviation Museum, just up the road from me and Matt here in East Anglia. So, yeah, if you fancy going and have a look at that, it is a very, very good little one to look round as well, because it's about 95% complete. There are a few bits that they've taken at what the MOD took off the aircraft, but other than that, it is virtually all in one piece. So, yeah, worth a look. Nick, you got the next one?
Yes, this is from aviationweek.com, and the headline is UK preparing groundwork for Hawk T2 replacement contest. The UK Defence Ministry is progressing with plans to launch a contest to find a replacement for the BAE Systems Hawk T2 advanced jet trainer. The competition's launch has been held back by delays to the publication of the government's defence investment plan. The Ministry of Defence is aware of several potential platform solutions to replace the Hawk T2, and all industry engagement will continue to be conducted in accordance with government procurement policy, Pollard's letter says. It has been expected that the contest would get underway before Christmas, in line with the original plan for the DIP's publication at the end of last year. Now that may not take place until March, media reporting has suggested. The service needs to find a replacement for both the Hawk T1s, flown by the Red Arrows aerobatic team, and the Hawk T2s used to support advanced jet training. The Hawk T1s are due to exit service in 2030, but the Hawk T2s were not due to be retired until 2040. However, issues with T2 availability, along with emerging obsolescence problems, have prompted the service to replace the type as soon as possible, Pollard wrote. So far, 2 potential contenders have declared they plan to enter the contest. BAE Systems has announced that it will work with Boeing and Saab to offer the T7 Red Hawk, while Leonardo plans to offer its Block 20 M346. Other potential candidates could include Korea Aerospace Industries FAT-50 and Turkish Aerospace Industries Hürjet, although neither airframer has yet to formally declare an interest in the competition. Pollard said a combination of Hawk T2 training overseas in the US, Italy and Qatar is helping to cope with the UK's demand for fast jet pilots. But he also says the training pipeline remains taut, and work is underway to improve Hawk T2's availability, as well as to address shortcomings with a lack of flying instructors, of which more have been recruited. Airfield availability is also an issue. Pollard said the Defence Ministry is applying pressure on airframer BAE Systems and engine provider Rolls-Royce to ensure the aircraft are available for an expected increase in flight hours in 2026.
And again, if the Air Force wants to donate any pieces, more than happy to take some pieces of the T2. Mind you, it does say the Hawk T1s are due to exit service in 2030, so I don't really want to wait that long.
They've been around a
Just
while, haven't they?
Just have a whole one. Put it in your back garden, the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I expect the MOD will probably sell some of the older ones. Yeah, that's not a possibility. Just need to get a big enough back garden for it.
When they closed RAES Bedford back in the 90s. They sold off a lot of airframes then, didn't they? So maybe they'll do the same thing now.
Yeah, they're always saying they want more money. Well, they should sell more, decommissioned aircraft.
Yeah.
Going to say hello to Grinner in the chat room. Said he's sorry he's late on parade. He apologises, guys, but Grinner's here. So hello to you, Grinner. And Jenny in Rome is now departing.
Must be tea time.
Must be tea time, yeah. Thanks, Jenny. Good to see you. And that was the last military story this week. But, yeah, we're going to have a little quick scuttle round and see what everyone's up to this weekend. Obviously, it's very cold here in the UK at the moment, although it's not as cold as it has been. But, Nev, car cleaning this weekend, getting the car pristine again?
I was thinking, actually, that I was thinking about going to my local car wash on the way back home from where I was going today. But yes, but the queue for it was absolutely phenomenal. So I thought, I'm not going to do that. I shall clean it myself this weekend. But no, this next week's very much the usual sort of couple of days worth of swimming, bit of keep fit, try not to put any more weight on, try and lose some more weight. The usual business, nothing phenomenal this week, I hope.
How about you, Nick? Two-wheeled fun?
Well, I'm actually going to take the motorbike over to the Isle of Wight at the weekend. Hoping I won't get too soggy. And then next week I'm off up to the Lake District for a couple of days, but going in the car because it might snow.
True that. Very true. Yeah, indeed.
How about you, Andy? Any exciting things flying? Any flying, I should say, happening
in the next week as a passenger? Yes.
Oh,
I'm off to Amsterdam next week. Actually, I'm running the sim for the competition winner. Do you remember back in May when we raffled off the sim session? That is finally happening now with Brian over in Amsterdam next week, and I'm also out there testing some stuff for our next recurrent phase as well, which will be good fun. And this weekend, nothing particularly exciting. My daughter is away all weekend, so I might be spending quite a bit of time in this pub. Who knows? We'll see what permissions I get to do that.
Yeah.
But hopefully.
Oh, I like that. How about you, Mr. Smith?
Just the usual, really. I'm just going to share this picture, this lovely picture that that we've been sent from. Oh, come on, you stupid... Sorry, my computer's playing up. Sorry. Tanya sent us this picture earlier on in the day. We were talking about the weather and stuff in New York. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is a bit snowy, isn't it?
It is a bit... I think that constitutes proper snow.
Actual
snow, not snow.
Actual, yeah.
Not snow. So if you are out there, as I say, there's a lot of America I know has had quite the pelting of the old white stuff. So if you are out there, I hope you're all keeping very, very safe. But genuinely, a really lovely picture in a weird sort of way, actually.
It's nice.
I assume that's a station building directly in front of you. It's got
that's Grand Central, isn't it?
That's Grand Central Station. Yeah, I was walking down that street back in November. It wasn't covered in snow.
No, indeed. So thank you, Tanya, for sending that in. Amazing.
Matt, is there any chance you can pull the A320 with the double bogies picture off of WhatsApp?
Oh, the bogies.
Oh, hang on.
See if
did anybody get it right?
While you're getting that,
in the chat room, going to hazard any guesses as to which airline?
Quickly, while you're getting that, Matt, Nev, social media links just for the benefit of the viewers or listeners.
Yes, just look up Plain Talking UK on Facebook, X, Instagram, or LinkedIn. You'll find us there. Email the show, podcast@plaintalkinguk.com, and the WhatsApp number is +44 7446 975 214. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please click the like button as well, and you'll get notifications when we go live. And you can help shape the conversation of the show by joining us in the chat room, as many people have done today. Just look up Plain Talking UK on YouTube, and you can also help us with the running of the show as well. And if you're able to do so, we have a Patreon and a PayPal link on our website. Just go to plaintalkinguk.com and all the details are on there.
So could you Did you find the photo, Matt, of the?
Yeah. Just give me
Did we get any responses though in the chat?
Don't know if we did. Any last takers on what was the question again, Andy?
There was an option on the Airbus A320 to have double bogey gear, and only one airline took it up. Does anybody know?
You have 1 minute to get your answers in the chat room. Here we go.
1 minute.
Are there any answers in there already, Carlos?
Oh, we'll have a little song and dance. What we need is the countdown timer.
Right.
Really.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Before we read the answer out and put everyone out of their misery, I managed to go probably nearly a whole year without a cold, and I've now got a blooming cold.
When you say a whole year, do you mean 28 days of January 2026?
Well, no, I haven't. I've not had a cold since I can't remember last year, beginning of last year at least.
Oh dear.
So,
Carlos, can you tell us a bit about your photo in your background?
Oh, yes, there was a few questions asked earlier for those. One, I think Richard Adams, got it right. It is British Caledonian is the airline behind me, or BCAL, as many of you all know it by. And that is the 7.4, which I think that was a classic, I think, that BCAL had. I think it was a 200. I'm pretty sure it was a 200.
Oh, yeah, long before the 400. They'd gone bust before the 400 existed.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I had 1 or 2 flights of British Caledonian back in the day when I was a lot younger. About you, Nev, did you ever fly BCAL?
No, I didn't. No. I've never been on a BCAL aircraft at all.
It's too low cost for Nev, BCAL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, Carlos, have you got any answers in the chat room?
So we have got some answers. Bill says he said Air India earlier. Well done, Bill. My Micah said it was Air India, and the picture I think, Matt, you've got on the screen in a moment. You'll flash it up there for those of you watching the world of YouTube, and just explain the difference again, Andy, for those listening in the audio world.
Yep, so normally on the A320 family, it is a single bogie, so just 2 wheels on each side, but the option was available to have a double bogie, so 4 wheels on each side for gravel operations. So there we go. Well done.
That was purely just for that reason, Andy. There was no weight gain or weight issue thing.
No, just to distribute the weight on gravel strips, yeah. And on the CB panel behind the pilots, there's still you can still see where the brake fans could be fitted for those wheels on the CBs.
Okay. And would that need bigger gear door, Andy?
Oh, mate, now you're asking. Oh, engineers, you're always the same. You want to know all the details.
Sorry about that.
Probably. Yeah, it must have had a completely different gear bay as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there's perhaps, they're engineered one size and there's space for either set, if you see what I mean. But then I guess you wouldn't.
I can understand
space,
that, but no, there's only on the stand, because I've never seen a double bogey one up close. There's only enough room to get the single set of wheels in.
See, every week you learn something new just by watching the show. Thank you, Andy.
Pleasure.
Right, that is where we are going to wrap up this week's show. I'm going to say a big thank you to all the listeners who tuned in tonight, those family members in the chat room, on the YouTube chat room. Thanks for you all for joining us this evening. And not forgetting as well, everyone who tunes in every week and downloads the show as an audio podcast. Thank you for listening in to us as you do. Thank you. So that's it for the show. Don't forget to tune in next week. We'll be back with some more aviation greatness here on the PTUK. So from me, Carlos, here in the home studio, from Nev in his home studio, from Andy in the awesome pub studio, and from Nick in his home studio, and from Matt in the Master Suite studios, and from me here, have a great rest of the week. Take care, and we'll see you all again next Wednesday. Say goodbye, Nev.
Yeah, take care, folks. All the best. Cheers.
There we are. Another one done.
I tried one of them out of a bottle the other day, Andy, and it was awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah,
compared to
bottled
the
beer
draft
just
one
doesn't
out
work, does it?
Yeah, you know,
That's what I've
draft
got.
Guinness out of a can, perfect.
Yeah,
Guinness out of a bottle, no.
agreed.
Well, it's different stuff out of a bottle, though. It's not the same.
No, not my cup.
We've tried some of the alcohol-free Guinness, and it's actually
Oh,
not too
it's
bad.
Guinness Zero is my favourite alcohol-free. If I have to have
100%
it's
one.
booze.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? I think, if you have a couple of evenings a week, maybe where you're not going to have a drink, it's actually a pretty good substitute.
I find it does. If I'm out and I'm driving, if I have a couple of beers of it, because some places they do it on draft as well.
Right.
There's something in my head that goes, "You've had a couple of beers, you shouldn't drive," even though it's completely alcohol, because it tastes so close to the real thing.
Yeah,
It's not quite the same, but it's
not. But it's
pretty-
so
pretty good.
close.
Yeah.
Like most lagers, like I've got a keg of Stella Zero at the minute as well, which is nice, but afterwards it just tastes of yeast and none of the niceties of beer. Whereas Guinness Zero, I love it.
I was in a pub in Norwich on Saturday, Andy. You would have been in your element, called the Belgian Monk. It's just wall-to-wall beer with a huge chalkboard that covers one end of the pub. with
That was
all
like
the
a tap
beers
room.
lined up. Yeah, it's unreal. Their heaviest beer is 12%.
Oh my god, you must only be able to buy that in a third or a half, or something, can you?
They only sell it in halves.
Yeah.
And it's $8.95 a half, Andy.
What?
Oh, you
I
can't
mean,
say
it's-
that to a northerner. He'll go into a full rage.
No. And I spend a lot of time in the south, and I lived there, so I
Fair,
remember what
okay.
the prices are like. Just go and buy a bottle of wine; it's cheaper, isn't it?
Well,
It's about
there
the
is
same
that,
strength.
But I stuck to the cherry beer on Saturday, which was
Oh,
so good.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, if you want to drink pop, go and get yourself some cherry aid. Don't put it in beer.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dearie me.
Tanya's saying in the chat room, if anyone comes to New York, I'll bring you to my favourite spot for a Guinness.
Oh,
Dublin House.
Sounds good.
When I went to a great pub when I was last in New York called McSorley's, where they serve you beer. It's 2 glasses. I don't know what the size of the measure is. It was 2 for $8. It was dark beer. They brewed it themselves, and they said, "Yeah, it's about anywhere between 4.5% and 5%."
Some
Crack
sort
on.
of number, yes.
Yeah, it was lovely stuff. It was a bit dubious how they cleaned the glasses afterwards. They took them off. Yeah, I saw them just dip them in some water or something behind the seat, bash back on the bar. But it was nice stuff. It was very nice, very open. It had sawdust all over the floor as well. So when I walked in, I thought this is a good establishment for somebody like me.
Love that.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Right, we better let the world of YouTube go back to their Wednesday evening. Thanks again to everyone for joining us this evening. And yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thanks to all the hosts, as always. And yeah, so we sign off. Would you like to say goodbye, Nev? And Matt will bring up the, will bring down the faders of doom.
Yes, thank you very much, Steve, for joining us this evening. Sorry about the sort of technical moment we had halfway through the show, but I think we'll we'll gloss over that and fix it in post, as they say. But anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next Wednesday, 7 o'clock UK time. Meanwhile, bye for now.